Every 2 years, the United Nations Office for Disaster Risk Reduction works with thinkers, practitioners, experts, and innovators to investigate the state of risks across the globe, highlighting what is new, spotting emerging trends, revealing disturbing patterns, examining behavior, and presents progress in reducing risk.
I think governance really addresses how you manage your disasters. It's the structures that you put in place, it's the institutional arrangements, it's the policies, it's the legal framework. It's just the whole structure that helps you to manage disaster risk reduction.
Our region, the Lake Region Economic Bloc, has been highly affected by the disasters in the recent past. It is incumbent on us to start thinking around strategies that address not just single hazards like floods and storms, but those that respond to systemic risks generated by zoonotic diseases, climate shocks, and environmental breakdown.
It will be very difficult to deal with disaster if you don't have a well-organized structure to deal with it. If you look at the structure of devolution, disaster is not given prominence. It is like a unit or a department. And it needs a lot of governance because counties need to have an established legal and framework policy that establishes as a disaster department and a disaster unit that is well funded.
Where we are as counties, I could say, we are at the level of always waiting for disasters, or rather what I could say the reactive level, where we wait for disasters and then move in either to help correct what is already spoiled or salvage whatever can be salvaged. But the true essence of disaster management and crisis management is in the preparedness.
We in this region, we are trying our level best to adopt the Sendai framework for disaster risk reduction, which requires development of both national and local strategies for disaster risk reduction. As the Lake Region Economic Bloc, we are working on strategies that will ensure both prevention and effective response to disasters.
That Lake Region Economic Bloc considers establishing a regional response mechanism authority that can be able to coordinate and synergize response mechanisms across the region. If we successfully do this as an economic bloc, we will have played our role in ensuring that we have achieved the part of requirements for having in place national and local strategies for disaster risk reduction.
The counties are really the structure that is on the ground. The counties are closest to the people. And this is where disasters are happening. This is where disasters are affecting and impacting on the people. So the first people that will actually look at issues of risk management would be the counties. The first responders would be the counties. So the counties need to have in place those structures that helps them to manage the risk as well as to address any impacts should the disasters happen. And of course, in this country, disasters are a shared function. Yes, so then, counties play a critical part.
We have sensitized the counties to embrace climate change and enact climate change bills to the assemblies. And it will include community disaster risk involvement, like places of flood. That climate change should at least bring in the laws and regulations that govern riparian areas and the risk involved. And it will encompass a lot of issues related to management of disaster risk. So climate change bills are the step one to be passed by all our county assemblies in the region. And once enacted, there are a lot of strategic intervention and a lot of responses that can be adopted by all counties.
disaster management needs to be taken to another level. We need to move from just responding to disasters to be more prepared. It also needs a multi-sectoral approach where so many stakeholders have to be brought in when it comes to even developing the disaster management policies. And it's also something that we really need to sensitize even the community on.
You can measure good disaster risk governance in lives saved, reduce number of disaster affected people, and reduce economic losses.